I am Cam Rogers. Hope you're enjoying the program so far. Let's look ahead now to the regular season. I've got my top 5 players on the offensive side, and we will start things off with Mr. Marquise Goodwin, the speedster, the vertical threat. And I'll tell you what, guys, the 49ers weren't expecting much from him when they signed Mr. Goodwin to an $8 million deal over 2 seasons. 8 years would be quite an investment. I mean, you're talking about Goodwin here, who had the best year of his career back in 2017, 56 receptions, 962 yards, better than his 4 years in Buffalo combined. And of course, he was rewarded with a 3-year extension, as much as $20.3 million with $10 million in guaranteed money. He's a true vertical threat. He is going to blow the top off the coverage, and at the same time, just his sheer presence will open up opportunities underneath for the likes of George Kittle and Jerick McKinnon and Pierre Garçon. So Marquise Goodwin's raw speed as is already a threat, and then, of course, he can catch the football too. All right, number 4 here on the list. We got Joe Staley at left tackle. Now, guys, I want you to, first of all, before you get mad, think about positional value here. And that's kind of how I'm going about this. This is not necessarily positional value aside. In that case, I think Joe Staley would probably be the number 1 guy on this list. But here he is at number 4. He's the stalwart. He's the man protecting Jimmy Garoppolo's blind side, and he's darn good at it. Take a look at the Pro Football Focus ranks from 2017. First in run blocking, 5th in pass protection as well. There is an element of luxury if you're on the offensive side, if you're an offensive coordinator, knowing that you have your quarterback's blind side protected. You don't have to really worry about some premier edge rusher beating out Joe Staley, because more likely than not, they won't. So for Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously it's a luxury for him because more likelihood that he'll stay healthy. And by the way, Joe Staley does not miss many games either. So I hold him in high regard, no doubt about that. All right, next up on the list, we got number 3, Pierre Garçon, probably the best hands on the entire team. The guy just catches everything, and if it weren't for an injury-plagued season, he only saw 8 games last year, he probably would have had a really good campaign. Now, for Pierre Garçon, he is the top-line guy. He is the top wide receiver for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's going to be a really nice security blanket for Jimmy G as well, much like George Kittle will. But watch out for Pierre Garçon in the red zone as well. I think he could make some noise this season, just like George Kittle too. Pierre Garçon, though, I mean, he'll catch anything. His catch radius is fantastic. He's going to be an underneath guy that will make a lot of plays for the 49ers this season. All right, you're watching the 49ers Report presented by Game Time. It's the Game Time app, folks. Get up to 60% off all those last-minute sports tickets, concert tickets, and so much more. Chatsports.com/tickets is the way to download. All right, number 2 here on the list, and maybe I'm a little biased because I think he's going to have a really good year, but Jerick McKinnon is number 2 on the top 5 offensive players for the 49ers. I think he's really going to thrive in this Kyle Shanahan zone blocking scheme that Mr. Shanahan likes to employ. And for McKinnon, he can do a bunch of things. He can go out and catch the football. He can run the football effectively. He's got a good offensive line, a much better offensive line in front of him this season than what he had in Minnesota last year, because Minnesota's offensive line kind of overachieved in a way. It's not a very talented front 5. This one is, with McGlinchey and Staley and Richburg. The list goes on. Probably Jonathan Cooper at right guard too. So watch out for a big-time season for Jerick McKinnon. And with that, the number 1 guy on offense, obviously, it's the quarterback. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. And, you know, everybody is coming at me because I'm saying that Jimmy Garoppolo will be a top 10 quarterback this season. Go ahead and save this clip. And remember this, because he will be. And in a way, it's an indictment on the talent pool at the quarterback position that we have in the NFL. That I will say for sure, because there is some bad QB play out there, and in that vein, you're almost forced to pick guys to get inside that top 10. So Jimmy Garoppolo is just on the inside, but at the same time, he's a talented player. He's in for a really good year. He's playing with an incredible offensive mind in Kyle Shanahan. He's got a great offensive line in front of him. The situation is perfect for Jimmy Garoppolo to be a top 10 quarterback. He is the number 1 offensive player for the 49ers this year. So let's summarize the entire list. We got Garoppolo, McKinnon, Garcon, Mr. Joe Staley, and then Marquise Goodwin at number 5. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Who will be the 49ers team MVP this year? Hit me up in comments. Want to hear what you guys have to say about that one. So type away, ladies and gentlemen. And hey, you may be wondering, why does Cam look so great on this episode of the 49ers Report? Because I am sporting Mizzen and Made. Head to comfortable.af for these fantastic dress shirts, folks. All right, Cam Rogers here signing off for the 49ers Report. I'll see you next time.